Hello guys, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rita Agbi. If you haven't met me before, or if you haven't come across this channel before, this is a beauty, fashion, lifestyle channel, and yeah, just come on in and join us. Today, I'm going to tell you how I moved to Lagos, Nigeria from Abuja. You know, a lot of people don't think that it makes sense to move from Abuja to Lagos because it's just really much peaceful in Abuja. It makes a whole lot of sense to go the opposite way. But my case is different, and pretty much there is a place for everybody on the earth. And the reason why I moved is because God wanted me to be here. That's the simple truth. Before I even start talking about opportunities and whatnot. And I actually grew up in Abuja, so from birth till recent times I have lived my whole life in Abuja. I have not experienced living in other places, so all I have known is that peaceful, quiet city. And then when you've not gone to other places, you don't actually know the advantages or disadvantages or the benefits that you might have been experiencing in a certain place or not. So coming to Lagos was really an eye-opener for me. Even though I schooled in the south, I didn't really have the opportunity to just walk up and down, and then I didn't even want to put myself in harm's way looking for what is not lost. So I just minded my business and focused on my studies, and yeah, got out pretty much all right. So when I said I was going to move to Lagos, it sounded like a crazy idea, both professionally and for my business. It just seemed like you're already settled here, and then even for your business, most of your clients, you've already amassed a good number of clients here, and it could only grow larger because of referrals. But in anything in this life, the main thing is you have to take risks, because if you don't try something, you would never know what it could have been. So I'm always looking for those opportunities to step out of my comfort zone. And when God put it on my heart that I should leave Abuja, that was it. Because God knows best, and you can, no matter how much you try to think about the ways of God and his plans for your life, the truth is you never know the end. You can only know the beginning. But one basic thing I can say about moving, or that move, is that God provided for it. So when God is going to do something for you, he sponsors it. So I was able to move seamlessly and even get a place to stay. So now let's get down to the shock I experienced when I came to Lagos. There is a huge culture shock because Lagos is just so noisy. It's so noisy, and I'm staying on the mainland, so I've not really known what the island experience is. I've been there, so I know that it's more coordinated, and then you've watched it on TV. Of course, you know. When you know. But I'm staying on the mainland because when I asked questions and did research, they said if you're just coming for the first time, the mainland is more affordable, and you could get a pretty decent place, and there are places where electricity is not so bad. And so that was why I opted for the mainland. Even though right now I'll tell you that if you're going to move, aside the advice that you hear, do your own look for what works for you best before you just take other people's ideas hook, line and sinker, because there are things that will work for you as a person that will not work for others, or things that work for others that will not work for you. So when I got here, number one, the place is really noisy. There's hardly a time of absolute silence, except really in the middle of the night. So even if you're in an area where it's not really market concentrated or business concentrated, you will see that there's a lot of noise, because sometimes you just have like 3-4 days of no light, and then people have to put on their generators for a long period of time. And I'm telling you, for somebody that's coming from such a quiet, peaceful, beautiful Abuja, my God, I was running mad when I first came. It wasn't normal to me, because in Abuja, even if they take lighting, it's an unspoken rule. People just like silence. So by 9, 10, okay, that might be a bit early, but let's say 11, 12, people's gens are off. And then even if there's no light in the afternoon, you don't see that I need to put on my gen. I'm talking about residential areas, because what I'm comparing it to in Lagos is not business areas. In residential areas, you see that people have their gens on almost 247, and then there are people that they just prefer the generator, so you can have light and then somebody's gen is on, which I never experienced in Abuja. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why are you using generator when there is light? Okay, you have so much money to burn on fuel, please spare your neighbors all the trouble. So that is one, the noise. And then when there's nothing like taking a walk on the mainland, or maybe on the island because of estates, but on the mainland there's nothing like, oh, I want to take a walk, which is something I really enjoyed in Abuja, with personally on my own, just having a reflective time, or sometimes with my siblings if we decide to just take an evening stroll. But in Lagos, if you take a stroll, it's like you're just adding to the problem, because it's so busy. And then where are you even taking this stroll? Let me even ask first, where are you taking this stroll? Because there are no sidewalks. Initially I was wondering, why am I always, if I want to go somewhere that is nearby, why am I always having to dodge cars or this thing? Then I realized that there is no sidewalk. In Abuja, you cannot go to any place, not supermarkets, not markets, not your house area, not estates, not, I don't know, not official areas that there are no sidewalks. There is a place for cars, and then there is a sidewalk, so that if you're a pedestrian, you can walk. And that is what used to make these strolls in Abuja really worthwhile, because no car is going to, every once in a while you see cars that maybe want to park up there, so that is the only time. But it's usually just for a very fleeting second, just suddenly the sun just came out. Did you notice it? The sun just anyways, so it's usually just for a very fleeting second. But on a normal day, you can walk on the sidewalks peacefully, and they are continuous, so you can't really say, oh, I was walking on the sidewalk and then there's no sidewalk again. So everywhere you go, there's a sidewalk, which makes life more peaceful, more easy, and of course reduces the rate of accidents. So, and that's another thing that makes Abuja look a little less busy, because here people want to cross, cars are passing, then there are little minutes and seconds of what they call it, of halting and whatever, and then you can't just move. And then the other thing I experienced is dirt, a whole lot of dirt. I'm not saying that there are no dirty places in Abuja, but even the places that you say they are not in the center of town, because I was privileged by the grace of God, living with my parents, to live in the center of town. But even if you're not in the center of town, if you see dirt, it cannot be like in Lagos. Like, people are just so comfortable throwing things anyhow. Like, everywhere is a waste bin for them. Every single space they see on the floor is a waste bin. And okay, recently there was one place close to where I stay that they fixed the road. It's still within the residential areas, but it had quite a large space where cars could pass, just commuting from one place to another. And the third path was actually rugged and crooked and broken down. So they just fixed it, and the first day I passed there, the first day they had just finished. My God, it looks immaculate. When cars are passing, they'll be quiet. In fact, it felt like the cars were moving. Of course, when you're on a good road, your car will move in peace. But then, it felt like people were actually enjoying the ambience and the neatness. Do you know that I'm not kidding you? Even though I didn't pass there the next day, 3 days later, somebody has poured corn. Somebody has done what? Thrown dustbin and hit it on the floor. And some just all sorts. I could not believe my eyes. And even though it's still not as bad, but I can see it gradually going there. So people are not intentional about maintaining things. Even so, that's one another difference. Because in Abuja, if you see a change, but you see it for a long time. I'm telling you, because people love the change and are eager to embrace it. So you will see it stay for a while. It will degenerate probably from use, not from carelessness. So that is one. And then another thing I realized, okay, for me, what would I call transportation is expensive. Lagos is expensive. I don't know how people say Abuja is expensive. You know, when things are presentable and looking nice, you always feel that it's beyond your reach, but it's not true. I think living in Abuja is far more cheaper and easier than living in Lagos, and I'll tell you my reasons. Number one, the roads are very organized and structured. So to go for a very long distance, you can just pay 50 or 100 naira. I'm telling you, I am not kidding you. There are these things we call along. So if you enter along, which is with like other passengers, there are cabs, taxis that you can enter with other people, since you're all going towards the same direction, instead of just taking an Uber or what we call drop in Abuja. If you say drop, it means you want to go alone. You don't want other people to join you. But if you say along, it means you're going with other people, like going in a bus or whatever. So if you enter along, now I don't know what the distance would be in kilometers or whatever, but a very good distance, you could just use 100 naira. Highest 150. I've not even seen 200. But you enter in Lagos, bus that is shaking, chaka, just from where I say you will not even pass maybe 5-6 buildings, you're paying 100 naira. If you pass maybe an extra 2, you're paying 200. It's crazy. And then the reason why food is expensive, I moved in Buhari's regime, of course, so I know that prices of things naturally spiked up. But another reason why living is difficult in Lagos is because there are business people but are not considerate. I'll tell you the truth, because they are always, there's nothing like bargaining. I don't know whether it is because of the regime and the whole hassle, but I'm telling you, the same things that you buy in Abuja and get double, you can't get double of them in Lagos. And I don't know why, because Abuja is not surrounded by seaport and whatnot, and Lagos is. But you can't get that. And their business people are very rigid. I've not gone to the big markets as such to know whether if you price things that they really come down. I think you can, but in surrounding little markets and not supermarkets, what do you call them, shopping centers, where you have a lot of just normal individual people's shops, there's no price, you know. It's as if you're entering supermarkets. It's fixed price. Madam, I go give you some, let's say the thing is, let's just use the example. Let's say the thing is 500. I go give you 200. They will not even say, okay, give me 450. Okay, give me. No. See, they will watch you go. But in Abuja, if you enter, let's say example, Area 2 shopping center, enter UTC, enter some places, I don't know how you will not price and somebody will not. I don't know. But in this place, maybe because I've not stayed long enough, let us see. Sha. You can't price things. You can't just price. People will look at you and their attitude go it plenty. So if you enter, it's not Abuja that you be saying, you know, northern and southern corner. I don't know how to speak the Hausa, but their culture has a way of creating that calmness. Here, if you don't have attitude, forget about it. As you're coming, just pack as much attitude as you can. And the truth is, initially when I came, because of the shock, I used to be a bit offended, like, why are these people? But then I realized that it's their own way of living. In their hearts, they might not even be as angry, but they're just so you too, you follow them, talk like that, so that you have your peace. Anyways, so that is it. I can't remember any other thing. And yeah, I actually miss those cheap rides. And then if you use Uber in Abuja, of course, it's also cheaper. The distance here that you will go and they will be calling how much, it doesn't make sense. So I miss some of those things, and just the fresh air. Like, you can wake up and some people have decided that they don't want to pay the people that pick the trash, so they'll just be burning stuff around. So there's air pollution, there's noise pollution. It's crazy. So anyways, guys, that is a little bit of my first experiences in Lagos. I think there are more things, but I would say, even though these are the shocks I experienced, that Lagos is a place. It's pretty much a place. Don't be scared to move, because what I realize is they are human beings like you. The people stay in Abuja and Lagos, they are both human beings. You can stay human beings here, you can stay human beings here. The key is adaptation. So if you get to a new place, you get used to the way things work there. You get used to the little differences, and you personally, you now adjust to it, and while still aiming for your personal goals, then you will be fine. Pretty much you will be fine. So yeah, that is how it moved me. Lagos actually moved me. Because the first few months I was just, hey, which kind of thing with this? I didn't expect it. So anyways, you can laugh if you want, but then yeah, leave your comments on your own experiences in Lagos, if you've ever moved, or if you think there's anything I need to know as a newbie in Lagos. I don't mind. I could use all the help I can find. So yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, my people. These are the things I need, and we all need for this channel to grow. So do that. I'll be expecting it, and I'll be expecting your beautiful comments, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.